Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Best Darn Diddly Review Show. This is a weekly podcast for anyone who loves The Simpsons or ever has loved The Simpsons, hosted by two dudes that grew up on The Simpsons. My name is Miles, better known as Mr. Most Days Off, and today we are back to kick off the 10th season of The Simpsons. We are on double digits, and when I say we, I am of course referring to your co-host with the most. Joining me as always, it's Richie the Whiz Kid. How you doing today, Rich?
Feeling old. Feeling very, very old. Who would have thunk? I mean, we both thunk it, but who would have thunk we would make it to season 10 and beyond if we get to the next episode? This is exciting. I feel like we're going to love some more Mike Scully episodes here and have a lot of fun this year. There's a lot to look forward to. I'm raring and ready to go. Let's go ahead and get started. The man, the myth, the major muffins. It is Miles.
So this is the first episode of season 10, and it also happens to be our 201st podcast, which is kind of cool.
Woohoo!
Nice reference point for us whenever we have to look this up in the future. Today we're going to be talking about Lard of the Dance, which originally aired on August 23rd, 1998. And right off the bat, I have a pretty interesting point from the commentary, which I'll mention featured, as you already mentioned, showrunner Mike Scully, the writer of this episode, Jane O'Brien, Dominic Palcino, Pete Michaels, and I want to say it was Ron Haig. I had a hard time hearing him because everybody was laughing during the commentary introductions, but something about this episode title that is somewhat unique is that it actually references both the A and the B plot of this story, which is something that if you look through the past episodes, usually the title only references the main story, not the side story, and it's just kind of interesting, and I guess in some ways, you know, it's proof in the pudding there, because we constantly talk on this show about how, oh, I forgot, or I didn't even realize that this episode was connected to this B-plot.
Yeah, I would have never put two and two together. I just kind of read the title and wrote it down, and I was like, oh, ha. But like, duh, pay attention. That's really clever. I'd never even noticed that till now. Look at you.
Well, again, it was the commentary. All I did was
I was talking
play.
to them, not you.
All I did was watch a DVD, and it gave me all of this magical information. But this episode does kick off without a chalk gag. It does have a repeat couch gag where Nelson pulls the couch out from the family as they're sitting down with a classic. Exactly. And we actually open up at the try and save, where Bart has previously shoplifted, but, you know, it seems like he's in good graces again, because the Simpsons are actually doing back-to-school shopping for both Lisa and Bart, who seem to have very different shopping lists.
Well, and it's only one day before school starts, like literal last minute.
Oh, yeah, and like if you've ever done back-to-school shopping, I don't know how it is other places. In Texas, it starts like weeks, if not months, before school actually starts, and it kind of resembles the Hunger Games to some extent.
If you wait till the day before, too, all the good stuff's gone.
Yeah, like Bart, for instance, is definitely not going to be able to pull off entire rows of both rubber bands and paper clips, which seems to be the only thing on his list. Oh, other than some staplers to shoot the nerds.
I love the way he twirls those staplers around, too. It's fantastic. But I love that Lisa wants a bunch of stuff to write on, like writing paper, and Homer's like, you could just use your arm like I do. And then he's got on his hand written, red equals meltdown.
Not the first time that Homer has used writing on his palm to keep things squared away. But yeah, Lisa decides that she would rather have some actual paper. I do love how she gets like borderline too excited over college ruled paper. College ruled.
Well, and Bart has a little comment here with Marge. He's getting the staplers about how everything's on computers now. It's the wave of the future. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, he's right now.
Yeah, Simpsons called it, really. I mean, this was in 1998, and that's there's going to be a couple things I talk about from the commentary about this episode specifically, and just kind of almost how it's almost borderline like out of touch with the times to some extent. And I will admit, when I was rewatching this episode, I did feel like it was like a little weird and almost taking a step down from the previous episodes that we've been watching. And I'll say that there's a couple of reasons for that. One is because the episodes that we've been watching are literally some of the best episodes of the series. But also, this one really does have like this weird antiquated feel to it, especially when it comes to Lisa Kudrow's character that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit.
All right, I'll be intrigued to engage in conversation on this topic.
For now, though, we see, I do like when Lisa picks up a crusty speak and say, and she pulls the string.
S is for Shiksha. S-H-I... I think there's a T in there somewhere. Look it up.
Sounds like a crusty brand approved product to me. Just then, we actually see Milhouse approach Lisa, and how heavily has Milhouse hit on Lisa as the past? Is this the first, like, real indication where we can see that Milhouse has, like, a full-blown crush? Am I blacking out on some of the previous episodes where this has occurred?
He's been doing it before. The issue is that, like, late last season, there's an episode where Milhouse made a comment about Marge, and I think that might be just like a roadblock in your mind or a speed bump where you forgot how much he was infatuated with Lisa already. But
yeah, because I forgot about the episode with the dog where he like jumps up in the air at the end and he like ends up choking out the dog, and wasn't that all because
Lisa's date with Density?
Yeah, there you go.
It's okay. We're back on the Lisa train now.
Well, Milhouse has got his crush like turned up to 11 at this point because he comes up and he actually ends up. What does he like glue? He glues
grabs
something.
A glue stick.
Yeah, there it is.
In his hair to like make his hair stick back. Like,
but it actually like sticks into his hair. Oh, hi, Lisa. Did you have a nice summer? Don't you hate that we have to go back to stupid school tomorrow?
I like school.
Me too. We have so much in common.
You have a pen glued to your cowlick.
If you don't like it, it's gone. And he actually just like rips a huge chunk of his hair out, along with the pen, to be fair. And he offers the like lock of hair to Lisa.
No.
So I did want to talk a little more about the Lisa Milhouse crush, and it's specifically because this commentary actually reveals the alleged origin of where this comes from. Now, there was a little bit of discrepancy and chit-chat amongst the people on this commentary, but specifically, Jane O'Brien actually wrote a spec script all the way back in season 5 of The Simpsons, and she had put that into her spec script, and the story goes that essentially that crush kind of trickled out of that spec script, even though that spec script had not been used. At that time, that script actually got her hired on as an assistant writer to David Merkin. She also was an assistant writer for a few episodes during the Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein years, but then she started on as a full-on writer with Mike Scully, who was actually surprised on this commentary. And again, remember, they taped these about 10 years after the episode debuts or so. But Mike Scully had actually just remembered her always being a writer. He had forgotten that she was an assistant writer before his season. So he actually promoted her, but didn't remember doing it.
Well, and I would say, like, when you're a fourth grader, like, having a crush on a second grader, I can't really see that part. But I think it's kind of saved in the Simpsons universe because Lisa's so mature and like she seems like she's older than all the fourth graders anyways, and the way she carries herself, so you kind of forget at times that there's a 4 to 2 grade gap on there.
See, yeah, if anything, I would think that in a real life scenario, like an 8-year-old little sister might have a crush on one of her brother's older friends in like a very innocent way, but like just that tends to be like my memory of what elementary school is like.
Elementary school. So much promise.
Where did it all go wrong? But yeah, anyway, Milhouse is clearly trying to adapt to fit whatever Lisa wants, but Lisa clearly doesn't like Milhouse. So moving on to the Quickie Mart, we see that Homer is ordering his usual snack, but something just doesn't taste right when he orders his Quickie Dog, bubblegum cigar, and latest issue of Success magazine. The hot dog just tastes different.
Yes, I just cleaned off the machine, sir, so the snack you are enjoying has not been soaking in putrid grease.
Yeah, but without the grease, all you can taste is the hog anus.
I'm so sorry, but I sold it all to the rendering plant.
And this is where we get the birth of our... Literally, it's like 3 lines of dialogue, and we already know exactly how this B-plot is going to go, because Homer is immediately like, people buy grease? Used grease is worth money? My arteries are clogged with yellow gold. I'm rich, Apu. Rich. Money in the bank.
I like that Apu's like, oh yes, they use grease to make products such as soap, cosmetics, baby food.
Yeah, he's just like, whatever, it's worth money.
It's all the things it makes. It's ridiculous. I love it.
Are a few minor flaws with Homer's flan. Yeah, his flan is
Flanders.
terrible. Honestly, the flan he makes is just awful. That custard just doesn't
on fire
set right.
immediately. I mean,
no, he has a plan, and it's to collect grease. But the way he's collecting it is by just frying pound after pound of bacon, and so much so that he's actually like overfed the dog to the point that you just see Santa's little helper there laying there in like pain as slabs of bacon just lay next to him.
He's so fat too.
Mm-hmm. Homer, that side of bacon was for thy bridge game tonight.
Marge, if you don't mind, I'm a little busy right now achieving financial independence.
With cans of grease?
No, through savings and wise investments. Of course, grease.
That might be my favorite line in the whole episode. I don't know. There's one coming up later too, where he's like, "Well, where do you get your money from?" Or it's like Marge gets his money from Homer. Yeah, and I get my money from grease. See, now you understand the system. So Lisa is off to school, and Bart's about to join her, but Homer just yanks him by the collar and is like, "Sorry, kid, you're in the grease business now."
Which even Bart wants to go to school. It's the first day. There's a lot of shenanigans that can happen on the first day of school. So
the first day is fantastic. Like the first day, you're just like hanging out with friends, ignoring syllabuses, like, you know, just getting back to the groove. You want to skip like week 2 when the teachers start like remembering they have to take their job seriously.
And they can't watch Animal Planet anymore with you.
Right, yeah, it's well, like that comes later in the semester when they're just so tired of trying. It's like, okay, we're watching another DVD. How about Planet Earth Disc 7? Yeah, but that prime spot at the beginning or end of a semester, you don't want to miss that on. It's the middle part that you can take extended breaks. That's our tips for skipping school, kids. It's
with this episode on this watch through, there was just a thought that really bothered me for like 2 minutes, and it was in the next scene where Lisa's in school and Miss Hoover is not really paying attention to Ralph, who's talking about his summer vacation when both of his eyes are taped shut right now because he's blindy.
Because both of his eyes were lazy.
And then my thought here was they just went on summer vacation and they were in 2nd grade, and now they come back from summer vacation and the class all clearly know each other and they're still in 2nd grade. And I don't know, like, this isn't a revelation or anything, but it bothered me for a few moments on this one. And I don't know.
I still love the theory on The Simpsons that like every episode is just like completely out of like sync with the timeline. So like theoretically this could be in the timeline, the very first time, you know, we ever see the first day of 2nd grade. What I'll be curious is, will we ever see another first day of school?
Well, you could. And you probably have already. It's 10 seasons in there now. I would say that it's just a multiverse and every episode is happening simultaneously.
I'm still going to keep plugging along I hope this series, if it ever does come to an end, I want it to end with the Simpsons family getting ready to leave to go to Bart's Christmas recital.
All right.
I feel like that's the perfect ending. It just wraps it into this like.
I agree. That would be a sweet circle of Simpsonian. And I need another S word or C word that sounds like an S. Come on.
I'm gonna just keep saying it. That's my promise to you.
Saying yes. There we go. We'll just go with that.
Great. Okay, let's talk about this episode instead of the multiverse of The Simpsons. That's a whole different podcast, probably. But yes, it is apparently the first day of Lisa's year in second grade. And again, to Richie's point, it's the same class that we've always seen before. So I guess they collectively failed or whatever, multiverse, yeah. Ralph, with his patched eyes, accidentally wanders out of the classroom, though, and immediately we don't see anything, we just hear Nelson, "Hey, Blindy, have a nice trip." Thud.
Oh. Poor Ralph.
And just then we get an announcement over the intercom from Principal Skinner.
"Attention, please. I need a volunteer for a thankless chore."
And literally the only person to raise their hand is Lisa.
"Shall I assume the only hand in the air is Lisa Simpson?" Thank you.
And there's
Lisa.
a short pause, and he's just like, "Yeah, thanks." He
knew
it, though. He knew
the
it.
first grade Lisa was doing all this then, damn it.
Right. Basically, Skinner calls Lisa to his office to talk about introducing the new girl, Alex, to the class. She's coming in from out of town, and it could be difficult transitioning. So Skinner is trying to set her up with Lisa, who will be an ideal tour guide to take her around the school. And he casually reminds her when they go by the trophy case, which is empty, just say they were out getting cleaned or something.
I like how he's like, show her the works, the lunchroom, the tree. Like,
don't forget the tree.
Because they come back to the tree later.
They do. It's a focal point, I would say, of this episode. And Lisa and Alex meet, and immediately Alex has almost like a Valley Girl-ish sort of vibe to her. And immediately is like, "Your name's Lisa? Shut up! I love that name."
Did she just tell me to shut up?
And Skinner's like, "Take it outside." He's done with this. So now would be a good time to talk about the fact that Alex is voiced by Lisa Kudrow, and there is the first of several little funny references to both the names Lisa and Phoebe, as well as some other little kind of gags of the fact that, you know, she was a popular character in another show. In fact, I was looking, and this was in 1998, which would have been like smack dab in the middle of like when I would say the Friends was probably its most popular. Like, Friends started in 1994-ish, so that would mean that it went from 94 to 2004. So I mean, it was almost smack dab in the middle.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely in full blown Friends phenomenon right there.
Yeah, the "Your Name's Lisa, I love that name" is obviously a reference to her own name. Later, she'll tell Lisa, "Don't be such a Phoebe." And at one point, when she meets the twins, she's like, "Ooh, twins. Which one's the evil one?" And that would be a reference to her character, Ursula, which was actually a character that originated on the show Mad About You and then crossed over to be Phoebe's evil twin sister on Friends.
I honestly never caught that the evil twin thing was a reference to Ursula. I clearly know Friends and Ursula. I just never put that together. I didn't realize they were getting that deep into this with just for like a quick little bit, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a fun little quip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex is being shown around by Lisa, and immediately you can just kind of see that there are some differences between these two people. Not in like a bad way per se, just that wherever Alex comes from, it seems like it just has a different... 8-year-olds are essentially act a little bit differently. They dress differently. Alex has a cell phone. She uses perfume. She wears jewelry. All things that Lisa...
Whoa. She definitely wants to get herself a good doll. The new Malibu Stacy has an achievable chest.
And yeah, you can tell when Lisa recommends a doll is the thing that the kids like to do around here or whatever. It just kind of like almost puts a bad taste in her mouth.
But also Jax are so big right now. They went out for a while, but then they came roaring back.
Once you get to foursies, it's all downhill from there. You're in the zone. And Alex is just like, you mean that like game with the little ball? And it's just like,
And then she's like, isn't that trophy case supposed to have trophies?
Lisa tries to cover. They were all wiped out in the big trophy fire. Just then
I see
Skinner
the
walks
trophies
by.
are still out for cleaning. Hey, Lisa.
They even kind of messed that one up. If you're gonna have a plan to lie, you need to be more specific about it than just like make up a story, Lisa.
Make it that they're out for cleaning.
Or
Skinner
something,
stuck to
though.
the script.
No, he says like just say they're out for cleaning or something. So he left it open for her to be creative. That's his fault.
Oh my goodness.
But speaking of leaving a bad taste in your mouth, where I was going to jump over a few seconds ago, and then you had to bring up another point. No, we are off to the grease recycling plant, where we can see that Homer has Bart, and he's very excited because this is where all the hard work, sacrifice, and painful scaldings pay off.
4 pounds of grease. That comes to 63 cents.
Woohoo!
Dad, all that bacon costs $27, not 72.
Yeah, but that's your mom's money. She paid for that.
But doesn't she get her money from you?
And I get my money from grease. What's the problem?
Foolproof plan.
Just then, a load of grease from the Acme Grease Company, which is great. The Acme Grease Company pulls up and they unload an entire truckload of grease. Boy, if we're ever going to earn paper money, we have to expand our operation.
I don't know how much more school I can miss.
Oh, you'll miss plenty. I have the feeling this business is going to consume our whole lives. Bart does not look nearly as thrilled as Homer does, for what it's worth.
So many pimples in the future.
All that acne.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. We cut back to the elementary school lunchroom, where once again Lisa is doing her very best to make Alex feel welcome. She invites her to come sit at the girls' table with her friends. This is where we get the twins reference, like I was talking about. But this is the first time that Alex actually pulls out a cell phone and takes a call during this. And I love her response. She's like, you only hear her side of the conversation, but she's like, oh yeah, like I'd ever be seen with a Discover card. Click.
You have a cell phone?
And a purse? This is actually, at this point, Lisa has actually been kind enough to go get Alex and her both a lunch while she leaves Alex to mingle and make friends. And this is kind of a sweet moment from Lisa because, like, she's off in the distance overlooking her, new friend doing well. And she's kind of giving her, like, a little pep talk.
That's it. Don't be shy. Now, maybe a little joke to break the ice. Or a big joke. Careful now. Nobody likes a show off.
But then the girls get up and leave the cafeteria, leaving Lisa literally holding 2 lunches.
Where are they going? Hey, wait up!
But unfortunately, she realizes her friends have left without her, and to make matters worse, Milhouse just happens to slide up. Oh, Lisa, I've got an extra seat, and you've got an extra lunch. Catch my drift?
Milhouse, lower those eyebrows.
In Milhouse's eyebrows, it's so funny on the scene, just like how visual this is, because his eyebrows are like all the way up at his hairline, and when Skinner gets onto him, you see one drop all the way down, and then immediately Skinner's like, and the other.
I wanted to point out while we're hitting the first act break here that I think Allison probably has more lines in this episode than she's had since her debut episode way, way, way back. I don't even remember what season that was now, but not Alex, but Allison.
Right, and Lisa's rival.
Yes, and I feel like the voice is different too.
Oh, it most definitely is. Didn't she have like an actual guest star voice?
I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I did not do enough research for this podcast.
You had one job, Richie. But that is actually the moment that ends our first act. Lisa is sitting there kind of dumbfounded as her, friends all left with Alex, leaving her completely forgotten. Not an unusual place for Lisa to be, unfortunately. This is a common predicament she seems to find herself in, which is a rough place for an 8-year-old.
Unless it's happening at the same time across multiple dimensions. Multiple.
The multiverse, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Maybe we'll get like the Simpsons movie, the Simpsons sequel movie that they're talking about. Maybe it'll be like Enter the Simpsons verse, kind of like the Spider-Man movie.
Right.
That'd be dope as hell, dude. I'd watch all that.
There's no Homer doppelgangers. There's just different versions of Homer across the multiverse. I like it.
And in one version, Homer is actually a little girl operating a Homer robot for some reason.
Okay.
And we already have a Spider Pig, so why can't we have Simpsons Pig?
We do.
Or the
we have Spider Pig in the Simpsons universe, yeah. And he kind of looks like Homer a little bit.
They've crossed over. So
this isn't the derailers. Let's get back on track.
I was actually going to derail a little more, but I guess we can derail later. Okay. No, we'll go into Act 2. I'll derail later. That's fine. We open up our second act.
How do we do this? We're in the 10th season. We have a formula.
The Simpsons family are eating dinner, and Lisa's telling her about her experiences with Alex that day.
So there I am, being nice to Alex. She takes all of my friends and ditches me.
I'm sure they didn't ditch you, honey. Maybe they went off to plan you a surprise party.
Yeah, good one, Mom.
They only like her because she acts so grown up with her perfume and her cell phone and... Oh, I get this, Mom. She drinks iced tea.
Lisa, I can't imagine anyone being more likable than you. But apparently this new girl is. So my advice would be to start copying her in every way.
But Dad...
Think. Is that what
Alex would say? Oh, man, that's funny. Homer doing his best to parent, and really, that's all you can ask for, right?
Be everybody else.
At school the next day, we really start to kind of flesh out that dichotomy between Alex and Lisa, because when Lisa opens her locker on the inside, it's decorated with the happy little elf, and basically it looks like a Lisa Frank binder from the 90s, if you're familiar with that. Like, it's rainbows and unicorns, and the happy little elf is the only thing from, like, The Simpsons specific. But Alex and all of Lisa's friends are now walking down the halls together. Very, like, Clueless style. I mean, the movie, not, like, the mindset.
Oh, there you are. Listen, I'm sorry I ran out on you yesterday, but the girls couldn't wait to show me that tree.
Don't give it a second thought. I didn't.
Anyway, I got you a little present.
And Lisa's excited because she actually has earrings, but wait, theirs are for pierced ears.
Yeah, aren't they great?
Alex did ours. Sherry and Terry both have pierced ears, basically.
All you need is a thumbtack and a whole lot of paper towels.
But Lisa openly admits that she does not think that she is ready for pierced ears.
Well, maybe you can put them on your doll.
That was said like with a lot of like it was almost stabbing. Like you could put it on your doll.
Just kidding, Lisa. I'm sure you'll be ready someday.
But then, like, to make matters worse again, she almost pats Lisa on the head as if she was like a little kid.
Yeah.
Skinner walks up though.
Oh, Lisa, I was hoping I could count on you again to spearhead our annual school-wide apple pick.
Absolutely.
Apple pick?
Yeah, it's great. We have pony rides and sing-alongs and apple bobbing, apple picking, apple everything.
Ah, you forgot apple bobbing.
No, I didn't.
Weird little...
It's such an odd little joke, yeah. But, again... Alex and Lisa are clearly from two different worlds, and you kind of start to see this split because more or less Lisa wants to have a school carnival, but Alex and the rest of the girls actually suggest that they do a school dance instead.
Yeah, and Alex talks about where she came from, and that's what they used to do there, and the fair stuff doesn't sound fun. And Skinner even admits that he'd care either way, but the dance sounds kind of fun, so. But
then immediately afterwards, he's like, school dance? I didn't approve in any school dance.
Yes, you did, yesterday, right by my locker.
Oh, Yes. Carry on.
Skinner's a little out of it in this episode.
Skinner is weird in this episode. Yeah, that's part of it. But now I'll go ahead and talk about a little more of the Alex and Lisa storyline. This all developed because of a conversation between Mike Scully and Jane O'Brien. Mike Scully actually has 5 daughters, and they were discussing the idea that at this time, girls just seem to want to grow up so quickly, which is kind of ironic because by today's standards, I think that's what I was getting at earlier in the episode. The thing that kind of makes this feel antiquated is that is actually a lot more in tune with how like 8 and 10-year-old girls act nowadays. Like I would go to like when we both worked at the mall, and not that long ago. I mean, it's been a while, but it wasn't that many, like it wasn't. So it was definitely more recently than this. And even
it's like
by
15 Simpsons seasons ago.
Right. Even by mall working standards, though, like girls are like kids in general are just like completely shifted. And like the idea that, an 8-year-old doesn't have a cell phone, I'd argue it's probably more nowadays that like it's weird when you see the 8-year-old not playing on their cell phone.
Ugh.
I'm not saying it's right, but I am saying it makes this episode seem a little bit off. But the whole concept did come from the idea that it was like Mike Scully's daughters and Jane O'Brien discussing the, concept of just like wanting to be older than you were and not really understanding or valuing how great it is to be a kid by comparison. And, in the power of hindsight 2020 and whatnot, like most people would probably be like, damn, I wish I could have played hide and seek until I was like a little bit older before I had to get like a part-time job or whatever.
Well, but that's the beauty of Lisa, though, is that she does recognize that she has hindsight without going through it yet, which is the charm to her character. So, I mean, all kids strive to act like they're older for a while at some point, but it's, again, Lisa recognizes living in the moment and having fun the way that she wants to have fun. But she flip-flops too. She'll want to be the mature adult more than almost any other character, but I think she has, maybe that's her superpower because we've been searching for it, is hindsight. Hindsight before going through it.
Foresight?
There you go.
Maybe. That's an interesting idea, but I do think that
Lisa line of sights.
I do think it's interesting that both Lisa and Alex are going to kind of essentially walk in each other's shoes in this episode. And that does make for kind of a fun parallel to, just knowing that all came from like a simple conversation and this developed into an entire episode is another just reason to talk about how great the Simpsons writers are.
Yeah, that is cool. But again, I'm going to point out the fact that you just made a literal statement about what Lisa's going to do in a moment.
Yeah.
You jerk.
I'm sorry. Should I have announced spoilers before our Simpsons podcast review show?
No, I'm saying that was a little too on the nose there. Or in the shoes.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, how about we take a break from that storyline and cut back over to Homer, who is now Simpsons and Son Grease Company. They actually drive by the school where Bart is actually seemingly longing for school, which is really weird to see Bart do.
Did they drive by the school? My bad. You're right. I'm sorry.
They actually go up to the Krusty Burger, though. That's their destination.
Yeah. Just hungry thinking of that.
Bart announces, when you want grease, you got to go to the source. Good old Krusty Burger.
Oh, I'll say. Look at that redheaded kid. There must be $20 worth of grease on his forehead alone.
Bart reminds them that they might do better if they stick to the deep fryer, but I love that Homer's looking for gold everywhere.
All right, we'll try it your way.
And we actually see they just walk right past the the pimple-faced teen who is also working at the Krusty Burger. He asked if they can help him, but Homer just tells him straight to him, "My God, you're greasy."
Mr. Maruka, help!
I have to tangent once again. I've got a lot of these today. I'm sorry, but this was like I said, there's a lot of information on the commentary that I thought was worth sharing. This is another story from Mike Scully. Excuse me, I almost said Mike Reese, but that would have been wrong. Mike Scully, who said that the Mr. Maruka name actually came directly from a real-life experience from when he was living in Springfield, Massachusetts. He was working for like an auto parts store, and his boss was named Mr. Maruka. He at this time had been doing some writing and really knew that he wanted to pursue writing and he wanted to move out to California and give it a go. But he had this job, and you know how it is when he quit. He had to basically work up the courage to he prepared this whole speech and he was telling it in his car. And it was like, Mr. Maruka, I've got this dream and I'm going to go out and, chase my dream. And I just feel like if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And Mr. Maruka in real life lets Mike Scully give this entire heartfelt speech. And his response is, what if I give you a quarter raise?
I have had that before, but I wasn't chasing my dream, but what if we give you a quarter more? No?
Yeah, I don't think you quite heard me there, boss.
Yeah. Are your dreams worth a quarter more an hour?
Right. How many hours is that to crush my dreams? Okay. Yeah, no. But yeah, that's where the name Mr. Maruka came from. That was a real life name from a past incident.
We're learning so much about the Simpsons staff.
In the back of the Krusty Burger, we actually see Homer and Bart are just straight shoveling grease into the back of Marge's car, and Bart reminds him, Mom's going to kill you.
If she didn't want her car ruined, she should have done a better job hiding her keys.
Makes sense to me.
But it is funny how he's not using his car. That's a nice touch in the scene.
Yeah, he's using Marge's instead. So suddenly the grease stops a flowing, and we see Homer have another confrontation very similar to the one that he had back in the 200th episode with the trash company, actually. But grease people, people in the grease business? I don't know. Man number 1 and number 2, according to our script, essentially bully Homer and tell him straight up that they run the grease racket in this town.
No.
They actually walk off with his shovel, which Homer protests. Hey, that's my shovel.
We also run the shovel racket.
And the two men get into a truck, once again labeled Acne, Grease, and Shovel this time. So they weren't lying. They really do.
Yep. That was a fun detour. Let's get down to brass tacks, Miles.
The brass
Little girl
tacks
shopping
they charge
for
you at the
clothes.
mall?
Yeah.
They do a mall trip, and this whole...
Where are their parents, Miles?
Did you not get dropped off? Well, I guess they're 8. That is young.
They're
to be
8 years
dropped off
old,
the
yeah.
mall. Yeah, you're right.
They're being grown-ups.
When I was 8, I would be allowed to like walk around at the mall and like maybe, go to like the arcade or something while my parents were there, but they would definitely still be at the mall.
I'd be hiding in the middle of the clothes racks.
I think I was younger when I did that.
I was younger and that age, I'm pretty sure. It was fun to scare
cool.
parents.
Yeah, I dig it. I'm not saying I don't do that now. I'm just saying my heyday. I peaked early in the hiding and clothes department. So, to your point, though, there are 8-year-old girls on their own at the mall, it would seem, and the stores that they're shopping at were largely modeled after the store Wet Seal, which I don't think is in business anymore. But Mike Scully designed it as one of those obnoxious stores that just seem to have TVs everywhere and look like every other store. Yeah, so I thought that was very accurate depiction of exactly what that was. The animator actually jumped in, or the animating director, I should say, which was Ron Haig, if I'm not mistaken. I might have got that wrong. Somebody from the animation department, though, did actually chime in and point out just even between the time that they created this episode and the time they recorded this commentary, there had been such a dramatic shift in how set design was done whenever they would actually be designing these types of places. Because in 1998, when they made this episode, the animation department actually went to the mall and actually went and like took sketches and whatnot so that they could actually like visit the environment that they were going to be in. But by 2000, by the mid 2000s, when this was commentary was recorded, they essentially said that the internet had almost entirely replaced that. Like, for the most part, when they need to know what something looks like, they just look it up online. They don't actually take a field trip to go and see it, which, like, on one hand, you can say, like, wow, how efficient that must be from a time perspective, but doesn't that just suck so much joy out of the job?
Yeah, because we've talked about how they've taken trips to other countries to, like, look at scenery and get ideas, and, like, that's stuff that you'll remember forever, but looking up a picture of Paris on the internet, you're just like, eh.
Yeah, and like I would say too, like I'm terrible at visual art. Like I can't draw or sculpt or paint or any of that stuff. But I would think that if I were skilled at that, like I would, if I were trying to capture the essence of something, I would want to actually see it, because looking at something in real life, it can't be emulated, or at least not yet on the technology I can afford. But like, like when you're looking at a picture on the internet, it just doesn't capture all of the like detail that something might have in a three-dimensional space.
Well, Miles, I will warn you, if you go to try to capture the essence outside a wet seal, you're probably going to get arrested. But, you do you.
Again, I'm pretty sure that that business is out, or that place is out of business, probably because of all the people trying to capture essence outside of it. But that's just wrong. Moving on, this is where the girls are really starting to kind of tack on to Alex's style a little bit. And they're really encouraging Lisa to try it out too. And this is where we see Lisa trying to act more adult, but really she just looks very awkward in a dress that, she's clearly not comfortable in.
Well, and then Alex says, this dress is totally you. You just, add some accessories, lip gloss, maybe drop 5 pounds.
Yeah, to an 8-year-old girl, man. That's so wrong. Lisa is like, aren't we a little young for makeup? And what do you mean 5 pounds?
Well, you want to look nice for your date.
Date?
Hello, for the dance, eh?
And this is the moment that Lisa essentially realizes that everyone else has dates and she doesn't. And we get a funny reply because Sherry this time is actually like, hello.
Stop saying hello.
Okay, calm down, Lisa. DMY.
What's DMY?
Don't mess yourself.
You.
Yeah, that's why we changed it to DMY.
Don't worry, Lisa. There's still plenty of time. You'll get a date.
I don't want a date. And I don't want to wear perfume and a cocktail dress. Am I the only one who just wants to play hopscotch and bake cookies and watch the McLaughlin group? Hello? Hello? The other girls like walk away, leaving her holding the dress alone. And clearly, Lisa is on this, the only one on her side of the fence, the only one that has the foresight, if you will, to see how valuable staying 8 years old is.
The Lisa line of sight.
I can tell already you're trying to get that going. I'm not, even if we go down this rabbit hole, we got to come up with a better name than that, but we'll work on it. That's some like third tier DC comic bullshit. We're just like, really? That's his name?
And I won't make a reference to Lisa being a third tier character because I love Lisa.
No, I'm not. I'm saying the name was third tier quality. That was an insult of the name, not Lisa the character.
Oh, I was backhanded insulting Lisa for a second as a joke.
Oh, but I got you. No.
Yeah.
I guess that one just went over my head. I'm not growing up.
Because you didn't have the Lisa line of sight.
Damn it. Damn it. All right. Back at the Simpsons home, we can see that Homer's pouting because he got muscled out of the grease business. I can't believe those goons muscled me out of my grease business. I've been muscled out of everything I've ever done, including my muscle for hire business.
My poor homie. Couldn't you try some other far-out money-making scheme?
Oh, what's the point?
You could raise some emus.
Emus? Really? Ooh, that's pretty crazy. Nah, I'd only fail, just like I fail at everything.
Hey, Dad, I've been thinking, what if instead of giving up on Grease, we go for one last big score?
Wait a minute. The boy's right. I can't quit now. Aw, you always know just what to say to cheer me up. Emu Farm. You're priceless, Marge. Marge is clearly doing her best to help, and Homer's just like, you're trash.
I want to see Homer on an emu farm.
That, I bet, the funny thing is, in 30 seasons, I'm guessing they get to an emu farm at some point. I just can't remember.
I don't remember with the tobacco if they were emus. No, those are ostriches. Okay,
yeah.
Well, similar type creatures.
We cut back to the Springfield Elementary School where we actually see Nelson giving a very strange talk about huckleberries to Wendell, Ralph, Lewis, and Database. The thing about huckleberries is, once you had fresh, you'll never go back to canned.
Skinner walks up to the group.
So anyway, I kicked the guy's ass.
Mm-hmm. And then Skinner walks away.
Now, if the berries are too tart, I just dust them with confectioner's sugar.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny that like Skinner is enforcing that they stick to their tropes.
Yeah. But it's a sweet moment for Nelson.
Yeah, I kicked his ass, yeah.
And I was talking about the part where he was actually being
gotcha.
genuine.
He's very much into baking, which is nice.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't know huckleberries were really a berry. I thought that was like a cartoon character, like a hound.
Maybe you should Google pictures of huckleberries and then be laughing your butt off after you see the results.
That's fair.
Okay.
I'm not going to add the word hound onto that because that'll save me. Anyway, group murmurs in agreement that, they're like, oh, wow, it's confectioner's sugar fixes the tartness. Like they suddenly care. But Lisa walks up just then with her new dress, trying to turn some heads.
And walk straight.
Yeah, she's very wobbly, and like I said, she looks uncomfortable and awkward. She's wearing lipstick, earrings, very tall shoes, heels, I believe.
Like
and
platform.
Yeah, she's just off.
Hi, Lisa.
Are you all right?
No doubt. Can a girl fabulize herself before the big dance?
Your earlobes are bleeding.
Oh, so I guess major muffins like yourselves all have dates, huh?
You better believe it.
Really? All of you?
We all have dates, Lisa.
Everyone does.
Even me, Ralph.
Unbelievable.
So apparently the second grade class was more excited, or I guess it's every class, but the whole school. I guess the elementary school is a lot more ready for this dance than Lisa was, because even all of these boys have dates.
Something's gonna happen. That's not how I meant that to sound.
Lisa's hitting panic mode, though, so she has the realization that who's been after her this whole time? Milhouse. Surely Milhouse will go on a date with Lisa. But lo and behold, he can't, because he's already asked somebody.
So unask her.
But that wouldn't...
You're taking me, you got that? And it's gonna be a magical evening.
And that's when she actually sees the reflection of herself in Milhouse's glasses, or she's not coming off in a good look. She's not comfortable, she's angry, she's like attacking Milhouse. And she literally realizes that like what she's doing is wrong and apologizes to Milhouse.
I'm free next weekend. There's plenty of Milhouse to go around.
Poor Milhouse. He like at this point is like, oh my god, this girl that I have a crush on is actually interested in me. Probably too dense to realize that she's just in panic mode. But also props to Milhouse for not just dropping his date and going with his chick, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then immediately trying to score the date with somebody else at the same time.
Right? Player.
You got a real Mrs. Doubtfire situation going on here.
It's going to be the classic, he's got to be in two places at once at the same school dance.
Wait a minute.
Lisa, go
glasses,
get some punch.
So
yeah.
I have 4 eyes. There's really 2 of me.
There you go. But that actually brings us to the end of our second act, and we open up Act 3 once again back at the Simpsons' home, where Homer is attached like a bunch of oil drums to the top of his car.
And then as soon as they pull out of the... Oh, wait, that's coming up. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Here we go. All right, son. We're about to embark on our most difficult mission. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Lord, I know you're busy, seeing as how you can watch women changing clothes and all that. But if you help us steal this grease tonight, I promise we'll donate half the profits to charity.
Dad, he's not stupid.
All right, screw it. Let's roll.
And they just take off in a squealing tires, pedal to the metal fury. And all the barrels go rolling right off the car and down the street.
I knew I should have attached those somehow. Good job.
Oops. Lisa is trying to distract herself with science. She's observing some paramecia through her microscope, and she's just so happy that she's observing something that doesn't care about stupid dating or dancing pressure.
Then all of the paramecia start to pair up with each other.
And it looks like they're dancing.
Yeah. Oh.
So Lisa can't get away from it. Downstairs, though, Marge tries to help. Lisa, I made you some homemade Pepsi for the dance. It's a little thick, but the price is right.
Thanks, Mom. But I told you I'm not going.
Oh, so you don't have a date. You can still go and have a wonderful time.
You don't understand. I don't belong there. The other girls are already into fashion and makeup and dating. It made me feel like a little baby.
Aw, honey, a baby couldn't have organized a big school dance unless it was an especially skilled or one of those super babies from Brazil.
Forget it, Mom. I'm not going.
But they're counting on you to take tickets. And if you don't sit there with a brave little smile and a festive bow, why, you could be the belle of the ball.
Mom, you can't possibly believe that.
I have to, honey. Or you can stay here and we'll have our own dance. And then to the beat of C&C Music Company, Marge is like, every Simpson dance now. Bump, 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 bump.
I'll go.
You know, I changed my mind again. Back to that standard for this season. That's my new favorite joke of this episode. Give it to Marge, dude. Like that is hilarious. Her whole sequence here.
She had some fun moments in this one. I like her Emu Farm idea, and I enjoy her. I feel like this was all very, very intentional. Marge trying to embarrass Lisa out of the house, because we know way back in like what was season 1 or season 2 where she was like, if you don't feel like smiling, then don't smile. Who cares? So
yeah, again, probably honestly my still to date favorite like heartfelt moment between Simpsons. Like that's just a big one.
Yep.
So we do in fact see Lisa at the school dance. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm passing over the grease mobile part. Am I not?
Yes.
We go back to the grease truck, or the grease mobile, if we will, where the Simpson boys are trying to run a covert operation using the school dance, I guess, as a distraction. They're actually going to sneak into the cafeteria and steal all of the grease from those traps. And as we're kind of cutting through and looking at the schematics of this, we cut across Lisa, who did in fact put a festive bow in her hair and is, you know, wearing a nice dress and sitting outside of the gymnasium where she is the one that is actually taking tickets. There is a really cool bit here. It's almost in a roundabout way like the Ace Ventura sliding glass door scene, but basically it's like every time you hear the door of the cafeteria open, you can hear everybody having like a really great time and the music playing, and it would really imply that Lisa is truly missing out on a great experience.
It does a very quick and good job of like making Lisa feel isolated.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it, for sure. Milhouse walks up. Wow, Lisa, I really admire your guts. I mean, you came here all by yourself at the risk of being labeled a dateless wonder?
Stamp!
And he gets his hand stamped a little extra hard. Ow!
It slipped.
In like her most polite customer service voice. Again, Lisa is like you put it, she is just completely isolated. She actually takes her bow out, tosses it in the trash, and is like, this is going to be such a long night.
For all the Simpsons.
And all the people in the cafeteria, because when actually... Oh, I'm almost spoiling that too. We're not quite there yet. I'm sorry. This
We're both doing that a lot in this
We're
one.
jumping the gun, man. But this we do cut back to Homer and Bart here, who are now crawling through the ventilation system. Homer says he'll bring up the rear, and it looks like he has like the hose like tucked into his waistband.
Well, and they said they make this comment about a dog or something. Like, I'm as excited as a dog, and the hose is stuck to his rear because the suction's already turned on, and like Homer wags it like a tail. It's a real quick thing, but like it's a clever little
Wig.
icing on the cake thing there that I really enjoyed. And we also missed the part earlier where Bart turned the suction on and it sucked all of Homer's face inside the thing.
Yeah, he got like the ultimate lemon face if you're on board posting. That's planting a seed, Richie.
Yeah, I caught that.
Gonna be a good episode next week. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, back to this episode, because we're still in Act 3. We do see, after they get the hose hooked up to the grease traps, they have like a moment where they're making small talk, and Homer's like, now we wait. So, is this your school?
Well, it used to be.
I love that, like, Homer has, like, again, it's just, like, he's asking, like, basically, how's the weather equivalent
Yeah.
question.
To a school he's been to numerous times, so, like, clearly you know.
Right, exactly. Unfortunately, though, while most of the school is distracted by the dance, they did not account for one man, and that one man is Willie, who walks into the kitchen scrubbing himself with a Brillo pad and some Ajax.
And they'll have to speak up because he's wearing a towel.
He is wearing a towel as well, but he is almost immediately notices that the Simpsons are currently stealing from him.
Eek! What are you doing here?
We're now foreign exchange students from Scotland.
Saints be praised! I'm from Scotland. Where do you hail from?
North Kiltown?
No fooling! I am from North Kiltown. Do you know Angus MacLeod?
Wait a minute. There's no Angus MacLeod in North Kiltown. Why, you're not from Scotland at all.
I love that gambit that Homer goes with right there, because that's how the conversation always goes, but the other way, like, totally all in on that. That was a great try.
Commit
Homer.
to it, man. He calls him out.
Don't be daft. I was born and raised.
And that's when he first notices the hose.
What the? My retirement grease! No, you thief and grease bandits, I'll kill you!
And this is where we see the Simpsons try to escape through the ventilation, but Willie is hot on the trail. And when I say Willie is hot on the trail, I'm not referring to his distance or his temperature, because they draw this dude with, like, ripped abs, and that is actually going all the way back to the episode where Bart was stuck in a well, like Jonas. No, in a well, like where you get your water. And I just think it's really funny. They pointed out that essentially Willie was initially drawn shirtless like that for that episode because they needed him to be extra strong, and it just stuck from there on out. And it's hilarious to see him, like, rip off his, like, flannel shirt and overalls, and suddenly he's just like this dude that looks like he could wrestle a bear.
Well, he did wrestle a wolf in one episode too when
He did.
his shirt got ripped off.
Yeah,
Saved Bart's life again.
good stuff. But yeah, they actually get into Willie actually grabs him, and Homer tries to plead with him to let him go. But unfortunately, it's not entirely up to Willie.
Not so fast, boyo! Well, if it was up to me, I'd let you go. But the lads have a temper, and they've been drinking all day.
And when he says the lads, he actually curls his fingers into a fist, and he's kind of showing off his guns. So Willie begins punching Homer with the lad, so to speak. Homer legitimately, like, starts begging him, but unfortunately, he takes the hose and starts strangling Homer instead.
Yeah, so he stopped pummeling him.
Mm-hmm. We leave this fight for a moment and cut back to the dance where Skinner actually approaches Lisa. Lisa, I have to run home. I need you to keep an eye on the dance.
Oh, I don't want to go in there with all the happy dancing couples.
Normally I wouldn't ask, but it's an emergency. Mother has a June bug cornered in the basement, and she needs me to finish it off. Come on, chop chop.
All right, DMY.
I know what that means, young lady.
We need to bring that back and also bring it up for the first time.
DMY? Yeah, I've only ever heard it on this episode.
Yep.
So Lisa you can tell, is something that she's not looking forward to, but she faces her fears and walks into the dance where, despite the loud and cheerful music, you see exactly what you would expect at a elementary school dance. The boys are all on one side, the girls are all on the other, and Alex couldn't be more upset because of how awkward everything is. Oh, Lisa, it's terrible. Okay, this dance has gone Titanic.
What happened?
Well, like, the boys and the girls are, like, afraid of each other, and they're acting like a bunch of...
Kids?
I know! What's up with that?
It's because they are kids. And so are we. Come on, Alex. We've only got 9, maybe 10 years tops where we can giggle in church and chew with our mouths open and go days without bathing. We'll never have that freedom again.
Listen, you can giggle and stink all you want, but I have a credit card, so on you.
That's so rude.
I do love the contradictoriness of her claiming, her maturity essentially by raspberrying at Lisa.
Yeah.
Alex does in fact walk off though, and that's when we cut back to Willie, who is now again strangling Homer in the ventilation system. But Bart actually points out that they might have a little problem because that grease is still a-flowing and it is starting to have a huge bulge in the hose that Willie's strangling Homer with, and it actually bursts and starts falling all over the cafeteria where the children are now playing in tiny flakes falling from the vents.
That just got dirtier and
I
dirtier.
know. The whole time I could tell, and I was just like, you know what? We're just gonna ride this one out.
I'm just gonna let it flow.
It's like grease falling from the vents into the ceiling fans, and it's causing it to essentially, as Martin puts it, look, it's snowing.
This snowflake tastes like fish sticks.
So this actually is bringing a little bit of life to the dance. It's kind of giving everybody something to talk about and to connect over. Milhouse is like, it's like a hamburger milkshake.
Here comes a grease ball.
And this is a great little line because basically Nelson is just trying to cause a snowball fight with grease essentially. But just then, as he says, here comes the grease ball, we see no other than Luigi come by with a stack of pizzas. Hey, Luigi, bring you kids a free pizza. Why you have to make it the fun, huh?
And here we go. Here's the moment of truth.
So we actually see everybody is playing in the grease except for Alex, who's just disgusted. You're playing in grease? Ugh.
Oh, act your age.
Splat! And Lisa smacks a wad of grease right across Alex's face, who again stares in disgust for a moment, but then kind of relaxes a bit to say, "You are so dead." And they actually kind of connect for a moment as the kids all have a grease ball fight, and we hear the sounds of the war continue on over the closing credits of our show, as that brings us to the end of the third act. And
there was bacon in that!
Yeah, that's what we hear over the very ending. That brings us to the end of the act and to the end of the episode, Lard of the Dance. Richie, was there anything else that you or that book of yours wanted to say before we call it a day?
I didn't remember that this was like a season premiere episode. I feel like at this point on the Simpsons TV run, I remember the season finale episodes being season finales, but I did not remember this one opening the season up. And maybe it's because, like the episode, we were going back to school at the time, so that was more of the focus. But this, I don't know if this would be one that I would pick to be a premiere episode, but I thought this was actually a pretty darn good episode. I would almost say that, like, in the Mike Scully era, I feel like the Lisa episodes are more and more enjoyable than they have been with past showrunners almost. Not that the other showrunners did a bad job, but like it's a lot of the Lisa episodes we've had with Scully have been some fun storylines and putting her in situations where she both has to grow or help other people grow, but they do it in such a fun way. And I enjoyed this one, man.
I think I would agree with you on the other episodes with Lisa and a lot of what you just said, but the truth is on this episode, I didn't not like it. I thought it was a fine episode. I just felt that it was lacking a little bit in terms of it was a step down to what the last few episodes of season 9 had been, and I haven't rewatched it yet, but I feel like our next week episode is going to be a major hit. Like it's one of the top episodes I'm looking forward to of the season.
But you gotta calm down though.
I know expectations can completely skew everything. So next week I might
use your Lisa line of sight. Calm down.
Next week I might be talking about how much I miss Lard of the Dance, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But that is all I have for this week's episode. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, subscribing, hitting us up on Patreon is super helpful. We love that. Everything you do to support the show, though, just means so much. So thank you all for everything that you do and for continuing to download the Best Darn Diddler Review Show.
And also, you can follow Miles at Mr. Most Days Off and vote for him for president in 2020. You can follow me at TheWiz_Kid23. And more importantly than both of those things combined, you should follow our show at Best Darn Diddly. That's Diddly.
And I've already teased the hell out of it, so make sure you come back again next week when we're going to have a very cool guest to talk about a very cool episode. We'll be reviewing The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace.
I hope this podcasting career sticks with us, because I really don't want to have to work on Marge's stupid emu farm.
And until next time, be cromulent to each other.